Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We left Sault Ste Marie early this morning. We're heading towards Thunder Bay. Our next stop's going to be Wawa, but here's a nice, beautiful look off of Lake Superior. It is absolutely massive. So, very beautiful area. Lots of look-offs to come. I'll film a couple, and yeah, we'll get on our way to Thunder Bay. So we made it up to White River, Ontario, and they kind of have a cool roadside attraction here. It's Winnie the Pooh, and they have a little backstory. It's basically an old army veterinarian officer was heading overseas to the war. He stopped in White River, Ontario, bought a black bear, named it Winnie after his hometown Winnipeg. Then the London Zoo took care of it after the war for everyone to enjoy, and of course the author of Winnie the Pooh was one of those people who visited the zoo. And the rest is history. Winnie the Pooh was created, and it all started right here in White River, Ontario. All right, we're gonna get back on the road and head to Thunder Bay. So I made it up just outside of Thunder Bay. There's Thunder Bay off in the distance. That's Lake Superior there. And here is the Terry Fox Memorial here, just outside of Thunder Bay. It's kind of a nice memorial. On the backside, it's got all the provinces, and then it's got a little map of Canada. I'll go around and get some shots of that, but yeah, quite a nice little look off here just before you hit Thunder Bay. Okay, so I made it to Thunder Bay. I stopped up at the Terry Fox Memorial there, just on the edge of the city, and the Tourist Bureau representative recommended I go to a place called Persian Man Bakery. So I headed down there. She said you got to get the Persian donut, which are only sold in Thunder Bay. I believe that's a raspberry frosting, but we'll get into this in a sec. And then she said to try this Sally Ann, so we'll do that next. Not exactly sure what it is, but I bought one, grabbed it, and we came down to the beautiful marina park down here on the water of Lake Superior in Thunder Bay. So let's get into this. This is just referred to as a Persian. So not sure what's in it, but we'll give her a go. So I got to tell you, this Persian, I took 2 huge bites out of it. It's probably the lightest, fluffiest yeast donut I've ever tried, and the raspberry frosting is out of this world. They actually sell it where you can get extra on the side and put more on. So definitely check out this Persian, and we'll see if the Sally Ann's any good next, but it looks pretty freaking good. All right, so this is the second item we got at Persian Man. I was told to get this. It's supposed to be phenomenal. It's called a Sally Ann. I'm gonna get into this right away, and I'll let you know how it is. All right, so here it is. It's like angel food or pound cake covered in chocolate. So we'll give this a try. Oh my God. It's actually, you know what this tastes like? It's almost like a homemade Joe Louis. It's got like a little frosting underneath the chocolate mousse. Really good. Highly recommend trying a Sally Ann. Oh my God. Try that. So we left Thunder Bay early this morning. We're now up here in Kenora, Ontario. There's downtown off in the distance. We just grabbed a little lunch. We're walking Buster through this little park, and they have this huge sculpture of a fish. It's called Husky the Muskie, which is short for muskellunge or muskellunge. I've never heard of this type of fish, but apparently it must be plentiful up in these lakes around here. So anyways, we're just gonna cruise around here with the dog for a little bit, and we're about 2.5 hours outside of Winnipeg, and that'll be our stop for today. So I just stopped on the side of the road, making my way into Winnipeg, and they have this cool roadside attraction, and here it is, the center of Canada. Canada's heart beats in Manitoba, the longitudinal center of Canada. So kind of interesting. They have a few plaques in a little park setting. Kind of explains the different regions across Canada, where you're at and why it's important. Kind of a nice place to have a little break. They got some washrooms. Anyways, we're gonna carry into Winnipeg. I booked a really cool hotel down in the Forks, which is by the Human Rights Museum. So we're gonna head down there now. And the weather's not so great. but I'm here most of the day tomorrow, so we'll definitely do some exploring in the Forks region of Winnipeg. So I made it to Winnipeg for the evening, and I'm staying here in the Forks region. It's got like the Human Rights Center, a national park, some really nice artwork around, sculptures, and this is the hotel I'm at, the Inn at the Forks. We'll get up to the room and I'll show you that in just a second. It's a pretty cool room, not your standard room, so I'll give you a little room tour of that, and then we'll explore this Forks region. All right guys, so I'm in Winnipeg. I'm staying at the Inn at the Forks, and the room is quite nice, super modern. Look at the location. That is the Human Rights Museum, the National Human Rights Museum. There's downtown Winnipeg, and there's all kinds of like sculptures and parks and cafes. Really cool location. But what I want to show you, there's two things. You get, for one, you get a Keurig in the morning. Two, you get a wicked fridge. No cheap stuff. And check out this countertop. It's like glass. So cool, love it. With a glass sink, really cool room. Highly recommend you stay in here. We're gonna check out the grounds and stuff a little bit today. It's kind of a little rainy, and then we'll really get into it tomorrow. All right guys, I'm gonna show you something. You know you are out west when these little buggers dig holes in the ground everywhere. See them? There he is, see his head pop up? They just live right in there. So I made it up to Winnipeg, just checked into the hotel, decided to take the dog for a little walk through the park here at the Forks, and there's a statue here of none other than Gandhi. And why is there a statue here of Gandhi? Because here is the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go through the entire thing. It looks like it would take a good chunk of a day, but I figured I would show it to you just because the architecture is so amazing. I really like this building, love this kind of modern style. One day I will get through here, but it won't be today. So anyways, just thought I'd show you guys the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. And there's lots to do in this Forks area, so we're gonna explore this whole area tomorrow. All right, so I'm just up on this nice little walking bridge here on the Red River. Beautiful views, and then here's the entrance to the Forks National Historic Site, which is where we've been touring around. And then right up over here is a nice shot of the Museum of Human Rights, so really nice spot around here. And there's actually like a little indoor farmers market kind of thing. I think maybe we'll go check that out, see what's over there. So we're cruising around the Forks National Historic Site here, and here's a little sculpture or memorial. And this area here, it's known as the meeting place, and it celebrates the human interaction that's taken place here for over 6,000 years at the junction of the Red River and the Assiniboine River here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So kind of a cool spot to walk around. There's all kinds of little statues and memorials and stuff. Very beautiful along the Red River. Highly recommend checking it out. And also there's that market that we're gonna go check out in just a few minutes. All right, so we went for a wicked breakfast this morning. We went to the original pancake house here in the Forks, right here on the Red River in Winnipeg. And I didn't bring my GoPro because I thought it was just going to be like a regular standard old breakfast, and boy was I wrong. We got the giant apple pancake, which is out of this world. They literally like cook apples, brown sugar, and cinnamon into this pancake. It's not a topping, it's cooked right into it. I'll drop some shots below. And then I also got the I forget the name of it. It was like a Winnipeg breakfast, or like a Ukrainian breakfast. It had pierogies, kielbasa, and of course the famous Winnipeg rye bread that Winnipeg is known for is so delicious. Highly recommend checking out the original pancake house here in the Forks. Absolutely fantastic. Truly a Winnipeg breakfast. So I made it up to Island Park here in Portage La Prairie, and I just want to show you the amount of Canadian geese here. There's got to be hundreds, if not 1,000. They're all across here. I'm just going to be quiet and see if they're so loud. I'll see if it shows up. Hopefully that showed up, but it is super loud here from the geese. Pretty cool. So as you enter Island Park here in Portage La Prairie, you'll come down this new road into a roundabout, and then you'll see this old jet. And the jet was donated by the Canadian Forces as a sign of goodwill with the citizens of Portage La Prairie. And kind of a nice little memorial here. There used to be a Canadian Forces base here, actually. So they donated this jet as a little monument here in the park. And it's a gorgeous park. I highly suggest you come and check it out. They've got stuff for kids. They got windmills, water, little gazebos. They got an aquatic park here. So definitely a nice place to take a stroll. Okay, so I went to one of Winnipeg's most famous donut shops. I went to O Donuts. I think they have 2 locations. I went to one downtown, not far from the Forks. Anyways, I picked up 3 donuts. We got the famous cronut right there. Then we have an orange glazed cruller and a sour watermelon yeast donut. So we're gonna get into these. There was nowhere to eat them in Winnipeg. Well, it was kind of cold. So anyway, we're gonna do them here out in Portage La Prairie in Island Park. It's beautiful here, so let's get into these donuts. All right, guys, so I think what we'll do is we'll try the orange cruller first. Now that looks good. Oh, wow. That is really good. If you've ever had orange loaf with the glaze with a little bit of rind in it like your mom used to make, that's what the glaze is like on this. Super delicious. Okay, so for one, I highly recommend O Donuts in Winnipeg. My favorite out of these 3, I'm gonna go with the orange glazed cruller, but they're all delicious. It's really hard. I guess it depends what you're in the mood for that day. The sour watermelon, out of this world. The cronut, I mean, I don't even have words for that. Absolutely phenomenal. Check these guys out in Winnipeg. All right, one last tourist attraction before we check into our hotel here in Portage La Prairie. And here is the world's largest Coke can. You'll find it right off the highway behind Canadian Tire and Canada Inns. So, interesting location for it. I will drop the address if you want to come see it. It's kind of cool, I guess. Come get a selfie. Yeah, that's about it. We're gonna go check into our hotel now, and we're heading to Regina tomorrow.